What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Pickup Line. I'm your host, Ethan, and alongside me, Miss Hannah Vaughn. Hannah, how are you?
Hi, I'm really good. We've been gone for a long time.
For too long.
For much
I've missed doing this, and I'd like to say I've missed you, but I've seen you, so I've only missed you so much.
And I got to meet your lovely lady friend, Miss Yes.
Oh, I should have had that picture ready. I took a picture of myself, my girlfriend, and Hannah. It's a really nice picture. The only thing missing from it was Thomas Westbrook.
Well, if you want to see it, it's on Ethan's.
My girlfriend and
sorry, I'm trying to pull up the chat, so there was a little bit of you could hear the video for a second. If you want to see that picture, it's on your Facebook, and it's me and Jessica and you. And I finally got to meet the person who makes you so happy, and I just adore her. I adore her. So that was a lot of fun. But we should tell them where we went because it was really special.
Oh, yeah. And what the topic is. So the topic is recovering from religion. And we're going to talk about the excursion we went to. And here to talk a little bit more about that is Dr. Darrel Ray. Dr. Ray, how are you?
Hey, guys. Doing great. Thanks for having me on. This is going to be fun tonight.
Welcome back.
Ethan said he's forcing me to talk about sex too, he said.
So at some point,
you're gonna be so uncomfortable.
I know. I'm really embarrassed already. I'm red-faced already. So
well, it's really good to have you back. It's always a joy to speak with you and spend time with you. So
yep.
Well, I'd also like to say that, I'm sorry, Hannah.
No, go ahead. It sounded important.
That Dr. Ray did this last minute. We just asked him yesterday and he agreed. So thanks for doing this last minute.
I'm happy we could do it. It's a great idea.
Yeah, all Ethan's idea. So that's yeah. But I was like, hell yeah, we should have him back.
That's actually not true. You suggested the excursion and what we did. I suggested Dr. Ray, so it was a combined effort.
I wanted to do a review of the Recovering from Religion retreat because it was amazing. And I felt like we just need more coverage on it. Like more people need to know about this because, like, basically, Dr. Darrel Ray, do you want to tell us what the Recovering from Religion retreat is, kind of in a nutshell?
Okay, I will, but I'm dying to hear your review of it. In fact, that's half the reason I agreed to do this, because I want to hear.
Yeah, I have a lot to say. I have a lot.
Excellent. That's great.
Also, if you could, just for those in case they haven't heard of it yet, if you give a brief background on Recovering from Religion itself as well.
Sure. Well, yeah, let's start with Recovering from Religion. We're an international organization. We're 12 years old. Our mission is to provide hope, healing, and support for anyone on the planet who's leaving any religion or having any kind of a faith crisis. And we provide all sorts of psychological, emotional, peer, online, face-to-face support. You name it, we probably got it. And we have massive amounts of resources that we curate so that they're and target for almost any religion. We've got a whole library on ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, a whole library on ex-Catholics, a whole library on ex-Muslims. You name the religion, and we've got the library to support the people that are leaving that particular religion. So that's our Recovering from Religion. About 3-4 years ago, our treasurer and longtime board member, Shannon Nebo, came up with this idea. She wanted to do some kind of retreat for people. We'd never done anything like this in our, at the time, 8 years of existence. But she convinced the board, and board got behind it financially and labor and other things, and we pulled it off 2 years ago in North Carolina. We had 50 people attend, and we were blown away by how successful it was, how healing it seemed to be, how much people got out of it. And then COVID hit the next year. We couldn't do it, but this year we had several people. I don't know how many actually returned, but we had quite a few people who were there for the second time. And this time we had 70 people instead of 50 people. So it was pretty good sized growth over last time. We sold out. In fact, we sold out about 3 times because we would sell out and then somebody would, get exposed to COVID and couldn't come, or there, something happened and they had to cancel. So we'd go back down a bed or 2 or 3, and then we sold them out again. So, but every bed was sold by the time we arrived on that weekend. And the weekend is focused on healing and support. We have lots of talks from different experts and, not even experts. I mean, like Alice Gretchen, she's not an expert, but she sure did. She was amazing. Yeah, exactly, Hannah. Mind blowing. That woman has got a PhD brain.
I will be interviewing Alice Gretchen in just about 3 weeks.
Oh, you lucky guy. Yeah. Well, you guys are gonna love her. Well, you've talked to her already. You already love her. She's just an incredible person.
Yeah, she's
so
brilliant.
yeah. So I don't know if that answers that the nutshell enough for you.
Yeah. So basically, there was like group therapy sessions, group meditation. We ate a bunch of meals together, partied it up a little bit. You led us on a beautiful hike up the Appalachian Trail.
Yep, right.
So I'm a West Coast person, so I was like, oh, I've heard of this. Just amazing. There was I think the most like important thing is that there were a bunch of talks and workshops and things like that. And then you gave an amazing one on sex, obviously. Dave Warnock was there, Amandisa Thomas, and Alice Gretchen. Holy Kool-Aid was there. Oh my gosh, what a surprise.
Yeah. Holy Kool-Aid did not tell me he was coming. So I'm sitting out on the porch that first night, Friday night, just minding my own business, and this image comes up on the porch. I look up and says, that kind of looks like Jesus. Then I realize, hell no, that's Holy Kool-Aid. He does look a lot like Jesus in the dark. I'm just saying.
He has his COVID beard and his COVID hair still. He looks a lot different since the last time you saw him, I'm sure. And it's like, who invited Jesus to a recovering from religion?
Yeah. Hey, Jesus probably needed it worse than any of us did.
Well, full confession, that was actually one of my favorite parts of the trip. So Hannah and I were both going, but we didn't know each other was going until about 4 days beforehand. And then coincidentally, we ended up, out of all the cabins to stay in, we ended up in the same freaking cabin. So it was really, really cool.
Like a door. He was just on the other side of the door from where we were staying. And I contacted Ethan and I said, hey, this coming week, I'm not going to be able to do the pickup line. I know we've taken a bunch of weeks off, but I'm going to be in North Carolina at some like retreat. And he goes, the recovering from religion retreat? I'm going to be there. I'm like, what the fuck? That was really exciting. It was a surprise for a lot of reasons. And if you want me to get into my review, like
go for it. I'm dying to hear your review. But I will disagree with one thing you said. You said the talks were the most important thing. I think people sharing each other's stories and talking to each other, that would be what I think is the most important thing.
Yeah, I that definitely, you're absolutely right. As much as I took away from all those talks, I have made friends that I know I'm going to be close with for a long time.
Yeah.
And the main thing I realized, I've known this for a while, but this kind of just emphasized that idea in my mind, is that church and religion does such a good job of creating community. And when people leave their faith and deconstruct and are alone, they don't have that community anymore. And there's not really, online, there's like the atheist community, but a lot of people come away with nobody. And I just want to like scream from the rooftops. If you feel like you are going through that right now, like there is a family ready to just like welcome you with open arms, because holy crap.
Because when you fall out of religion or lose God, you can lose a lot of people. And it's unfortunate. It can be emotional. I've lost a good deal of friends since not only becoming an atheist, but since becoming an atheist YouTuber. Some just don't like it at all. But I can't look at the negative side of that, because I have gained so many friends, formed so many bonds since becoming an atheist YouTuber. And now I'm surrounded by an entire community of fucking awesome people who are really supportive, really loving, really caring. And when it comes to your mental health, the majority of them care a great deal about you, which is something I was not used to from past friendships and, you know, even some family.
Yeah.
Well, I think what the difference is you're gonna, you know, it's gonna be traumatizing and heartbreaking to walk away from a life you knew so well. But the people I met are so judgment free. I don't know how, like, I don't know how else to put it. Just absolutely judgment free and open minded and just there to listen and talk to you and relate to you and talk about the things that you weren't allowed to talk about when you were, you know, in your faith, and just deconstruct all of these ideas. And like, I had some really, like, I want to say uncomfortable conversations, but that's not really the way I want to put it. It's just things I wouldn't normally talk about with just on a day-to-day basis. It was like just really constructive conversations that make sense. And they were completely judgment free. And I just came away feeling like, holy crap. And I went into this recovering from religion retreat thinking, I kind of had this imposter syndrome. Like, you know what? I grew up pretty secular. I'm kind of going as solidarity. Holy Kool-Aid really wants to go. I'm going to see Ethan. I'm going to get to connect with a lot of people. And I just really support this organization. So I want to go. And I realized how much you know, I actually said this in the support group. I did not go through my life unscathed by religion, despite the fact that I grew up secular, because I grew up in a very Christian community. I always felt like a black sheep, and everyone had this community. I call it like the country club Christianity, where like everyone went to the mega church in my community, and I didn't, and people weren't allowed to hang out with me because I was like the kid who didn't go to church. And so since I've actually found this group, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I get that community that I was craving for so long, and that's amazing. So just, I thank you so much, and Gail and Shannon and you, Dr. Darrel Ray, for putting on this kind of thing, because it's, even as like a secular person, I really benefited from it. So I can't imagine what it is doing for people who are dealing with some serious trauma.
Yeah. Well, it was really wonderful to watch people come in Friday dejected, uncertain, sad. I mean, their emotions were all over their faces and their body posture. And then Sunday, when they left, it was like whole different people. They were all smiling and hugging and laughing and comparing stories. And, you know, it was just an amazing transformation in only 2 days or 2.5 days. It was really fun.
I know,
I'm disappointed that I actually missed these support groups, unfortunately. So I get social anxiety, and when I get social anxiety, I get like where I need to introvert and go decompress away from like everything for a while. So I had to go back to my cabin for a little bit and like refocus my brain and calm myself so I could get back out and be social again.
And the beautiful thing is you can do that. We're very permissive and saying you do whatever you need to do. We don't try to push anybody into, you don't have to go to any talks. We had at least one or two people who hardly did anything except just enjoy. That's all they did, which was fine. We don't care. We're not a church. We don't expect you guys to do shit.
Right.
Yeah. I always find myself doing like mental checks, because the last thing I want to do is accidentally walk into something that's dogmatic or cult like.
Yeah.
And my first experience with that was when I went to Faithless Forum, and I'm surrounded by these people who are like-minded, and I'm listening to these talks, and I had to check myself and go, okay. Am I joining a cult? And I went through my checklist. I went from my bite model, and I'm like, okay, no. And so I kind of had to do like the same kind of check-in at the recovering from religion, because I'm very like scared of that happening to me, because I know personally people that's happened to. We all do. And, you know, something that I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was you or Dr. Darrel, but or it was Gail who said, like, we are not here to deconvert you or to bring you over onto our side. We're just here to offer support and help you on whatever step you're at.
Yeah.
I thought that was really amazing. You know, we're not trying to make everyone atheist. I mean, that would be nice, but
No, we
That
that's
would
the
be
last
really
thing. That is not on my list of accomplishments I want to make while I'm alive, to deconvert everybody. I'm not interested.
I would like to thank Lee Spanner for the $2 super sticker, and then also meet Mathew for the $20 donation. Don't
Oh,
read this
great.
if it's inappropriate. There is a women's march on Saturday, October 2nd. If activism like this is something that interests you, check out what's happening in your city.
it's
Definitely
always an
recommend.
appropriate time to plug women's activism. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Especially on this channel.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And Barb, Barb, she's going to be out there marching Saturday.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Barb is really the activist. You may have thought she was just in the kitchen cooking, but what she was really doing, she was cooking up her plan to conquer the world. That's what she was really doing.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. The world would be a better place.
Yeah, she cooked every single meal, right?
Yep.
Three meals a day.
The woman loves to cook. She lives to cook. I have to suffer. I mean, I had
You
shrimp.
have to suffer.
I had
No.
pot stickers tonight. I'm trying to eat a pecan pumpkin pie that she made last night, and a pumpkin cake that she made the night before. I mean, me and the army couldn't eat all the stuff she cooks, and there's just two of us in the house. So yeah, it's a real challenge to keep my weight down. I had to go out and run 2.5 miles today so I could eat a piece of pie.
Oh my gosh.
I would love to have her pork tacos again. Those were really good.
She really does great on the tacos side of it. But I interrupted you, Hannah. I'm interested in your review, or what else you've got to say about it.
No, I mean, it was amazing. I had such a blast. I met some. I love that we had time in between the talks to really connect with people. Like I said, I'm already Facebook friends with a lot of people who were at that retreat, and I know I'm like, these people are going to be lifelong friends. I just know it, and I'd love to go to the second one. North Carolina, by the way, is absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
Crap.
Yes. There was such great scenery. Oh my God. Like, and where we were staying, and like the curvy roads, the mountains, and the small lakes, and the like little waterfalls, all of it was just like, oh, this is so calming and beautiful, and looks way better than Illinois.
Yeah, so I really encourage anyone who feels like they would benefit from this or is just curious, where can they find more information?
Just go to recoveryfromreligion.org and hit the excursion. We don't call it a retreat. We call it an excursion.
I'm sorry. I keep calling it the retreat.
Well, we don't like that term because it has religious, so many religions use retreat. So we so we called it, that was Shannon's idea. Let's not call it an excursion or a retreat, because that triggers a lot of people. Church camp and church retreat.
I never knew that. That's really okay. So it's an excursion. That's a little bit more luxurious.
It is, because you're on a journey. Well, a journey and excursion. So that makes sense.
Yeah, much more sense. Yeah. And I need to post some pictures soon, because I took some pictures of the cabins. The cabins were incredible. My goodness. And
Hannah, we got the best cabin.
Yeah, you really did.
You know that. We got the
top
newest
of the hill,
cabin.
baby. Top of the hill, Tim. Lauren, if you're listening, top of the hill, baby.
Mountaintop cabin was what you had, and it was it's the most beautiful and the newest of all the cabins.
It was absolutely gorgeous.
We saved the best for the best, didn't we? We saved the best for the best.
You didn't even know we were coming.
the ride. So for those that don't know, when we first got there, they were like, so you're at the top of the mountain. and most cars won't make it up there, so we have to wait for someone to drive you up there. And we had to wait for like a 4-wheel drive vehicle, because it was like literally a complete incline, and the one car was like, just so you know, I have to go super fast or I won't make it up the hill. So he's like vroom, like flying through. It really was a roller coaster of a ride going up and around this mountaintop.
But it was fun. I felt alive. Oh my God.
I was terrified of a head-on collision, but other than that, a lot of fun.
Yeah, very comfortable, very just. And the talks. Alice Gretchen gave an amazing talk about like neuroscience and what goes on in your brain when you're having, I think she referred to it as a mystical experience.
Right. Yeah.
So for those who don't know what I'm referring to, it's basically when I think just kind of specific, not necessarily specific to evangelicals, but you see it very commonly with evangelical churches with the speaking in tongues and kind of convulsing and feeling the spirit going through you. There's actually something that's not mystical. Something is happening in your brain. And I was mind blown by that. She's brilliant. And I think that was one of my favorite talks for sure. And and definitely your sex talk and the treat we got.
Darrel. So for those who don't know, Darrel gave this sex talk on secular sexuality, but one of the best parts, the talk was great, but at the end, he just flashes this photo on screen, and it's a photo of him naked doing that Greek pose. I can't do it.
It's Adam. It's the creation on top of the Sistine Chapel.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he had a fig leaf. It was still very tasteful. And Doc, your legs looked amazing. My God.
I've always been told I have good legs.
Yeah, I got good legs, dude. But no, that was so cool. You were having us raise our hand. And what's funny for me, because my partner was in the room, it's like, raise your hand if you're ashamed to tell your partner that you fantasize about other people or you masturbate. And I raise my hand and I look over like sheepishly, and Thomas is raising his hand. We're gonna have a talk later. Very open and civil and rational conversation. But it gave us a lot to talk about. And honestly, we've been making strides in our relationship when it comes to that sort of thing. And it's just the more honest you are with yourself and your partner, the better everything's going to be. I mean, you might have some disagreements and that's tricky, but as long as you're being honest, like,
right. Yeah.
No one can be mad at you.
Well, I designed that talk to get people to talk to each other. That was actually my goal. So you have verified, validated that. Thank you so much.
Well, that is what happened. Absolutely. So I was like,
I would have paid to see this conversation.
It was beautiful. You were only one room over, so if you heard any like intense whispering. No, but it was productive. It got us talking and got us thinking and evaluating where we are in our relationship and trusting each other and being honest about the things that people feel ashamed about. I mean, a lot of your talk had to do with shame and sex, and that's something that, it dawned on me that people can deconstruct and learn philosophy and go from the opposite side, from religion to just full-blown, I don't believe God, I'm certain there's no God, whatever you want to call it. But people do still bring along all this baggage and indoctrination and conditioning and shame. And where are you going to go to talk about that kind of thing? And deconstruct yourself, because, you can deconstruct God and religion all you want, but like, you got to talk to somebody.
I'm still deconstructing from the bullshit I learned. Ian Davenport, thank you for the $10 super sticker. Especially like, I mean, I've seen the changes in myself since starting this show, from the first episode with Dr. Ray, where I couldn't say masturbate without turning
you didn't have
red. now I can say masturbate as easily as I want. And Hannah used to be able to embarrass me and make my face get red, and she's unable to do that anymore because I'm finally like getting into this sex positive mentality and being okay with experimenting and trying all these other things out and getting opened up to this entire new world, so to speak. Gwen B. Fresh says, "Hi, Hannah, Ethan, and Darrel. Don't forget the karaoke. Ethan's dance moves and Hannah's singing are great memories." I didn't know anyone was paying attention to me dancing.
We did lead a little bit of a line dance that karaoke.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Drinks involved. So
well, I'll tell you, the highlight of the whole excursion for me was watching Hannah do karaoke.
She's amazing.
Hannah, you are a fucking expert. You are a true actress. You are a professional. I could not believe how good you are. I was sitting here thinking, there's places you could get hired in New York City, and yeah, you're damn good. You're really good.
God. Thank you so much. In another life, man. Thank you so much for saying that. I love to do it. That was partially why I took this gig on the pickup line. Is I love to perform and I like to entertain people. So
well, you entertained a whole group that night.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
We do have a caller.
Oh, perfect. I was going to say really quick, guys, for those of you listening right now, this is a really, really special treat for you guys. If you feel like you want to call in, we have a professional. Ethan and I say all the time, are not professionals, but you get the treat today of calling in and speaking to the doctor himself. So take advantage of this.
Absolutely. So let's get one of our favorite callers. Ameet wants to talk about the role that Christians attribute to religious leaders when it comes to topics of sex and relationships. Ameet, you're on with Darrel, Ethan, and Hannah. How are you? Ameet?
Where he at? Ameet.
Hi, you hear me?
There you
Now we
are.
can.
Sorry, shouldn't have said that. Sorry. Bad. Yes.
I don't know what you said.
Hi, Ethan. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Dr. Ray.
Hello.
Oh, what did you want to talk about?
I want to talk about an email that I found in my sent mailbox from 5 years ago, and how it made me cringe, and how it kind of ties to the role that I kind of ascribed to preachers and priests and religious leaders of all forms when it came to like sex and relationships.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So just a little backstory. Back in 2016, I was kind of doubting my faith. I've since deconverted. But I was doubting my faith, and one of the biggest things that I had were, all those hang-ups when it came to relationships and sex, and should I support like my gay friends? Should I say something? All sorts of stuff, right? And there was a pastor in one of the churches I went to who kind of gave a sermon on it, and I sent him an email, and I was reading it back, and it was so cringy. Now that I'm reading it, I asked so many questions, and I kind of just wanted to get your thoughts, Dr. Ray, on why is it that you think that that Christians or religious folk give probably the most unqualified people on the planet the power when it comes to like so much respect when it comes to information regarding sex and relationships?
Well, I'll refer you to a really great book called Sex and God that I wrote on that will answer that question. But I'll give you this a short answer. But I would recommend you look at that, because it is a mystery. Why virtually almost every religion, but all patriarchal religions are sex negative, and all patriarchal religions seem to try to shut down the sexuality and the sexual expression of everybody, maybe with the exception of the leader. As you know, many cults, the leader may have multiple wives. As Joseph Smith had 38 wives, Brigham Young had 52 wives. And, you know, you look at David Koresh, who knows how many wives he may or may not have had. So it's a pattern you see over history. Muhammad had 14 wives, but Muhammad also said nobody else can have more than 4 wives. He limited that. That's the limit in Islam, 4 wives, but he could have 14. It's just a pattern you see no matter what cult you look at. And what religions figured out probably around somewhere around 500 BCE, it started and continued from there. Religions figured out that if you can control somebody's sexuality, then you can control them. It's a lot harder to control somebody without controlling their sexuality. So almost every religion attacks sexuality from the day you're born. Because if they can get you, I don't quote Richard Nixon too often, but I'm going to quote him right now. Richard Nixon once said, "When you've got them by the balls, their hearts and minds will follow." When you've got them by the balls, their hearts and minds will follow.
Brilliant.
Well, that's kind of what religion does. It gets you by the balls. It tells you you're a horrible person if you have certain kinds of sex, or if you have any sex before marriage, or if you masturbate, or if you fantasize. Think of all the things you cannot do with religion. And once they've convinced you that you are a horrible person, you're going to hell, then they've got you forever. They can keep you engaged in their particular religion. And all the religions have the same kind of prohibitions, but they work somewhat differently. I mean, the Catholics have a different way of a different angle than the Mormons, for sure. And the Mormons are a different angle than the Muslims, but all of them attack through your sexuality. So why did they give it to the leaders? That's another question. But so far, I've answered part of your question, Ameet.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, it's the leaders that are the best that are charismatic and oftentimes are the sexiest in many ways. I mean, look at how many of those mega church leaders are a hot guy and he's got a hot trophy wife. Over and over and over. Look, Joel Osteen.
Oh, don't get me started on that asshole.
But I'm serious. I've been to so many non-denominational churches or upscale mega churches, and I've almost all of them have got two extremely attractive 30-somethings, maybe 40-somethings, and they're they exude this beauty and this confidence, which is very attractive. My daughter, unfortunately, she's religious. I had to go to church with her one time, and the minister she said, "Dad, you should come." I've been married twice, and my daughter doesn't like that. She said, "You should come with us to the church." The minister's giving a sermon on marriage. Like, oh wow, like I don't know anything.
You're gonna want to hear this now.
Yeah. I humored her. The last time I ever went to church voluntarily, I humored her. We went. I listened to this guy talk, and it was just a display of his own and his wife's narcissism. They're very charismatic, but everything was about them and how wonderful their marriage was. You know, they never mentioned the word sex once, not once. They never said anything about masturbation. They never said anything about did either of them have any sexual fantasies? Did either of them ever get together with anybody else before they got married? You know, this guy is too hot and she's too hot not to have had sex probably before they got married. And my first wife went to a Bible college. So I had to go visit her at the Bible college. And the reason I'm saying this is it kind of answer your question. This is a Bible college that trains their leaders, and they're being told you can't go out with anybody unless your skirt, and of course it's always on the women, your skirt has to touch the ground when you're on your knees. I don't know why they had to get on their knees, but okay, just
for praying.
Yeah, pray. And you had to be back by 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. You know, it's crazy. But if a girl got pregnant, a lot of girls got pregnant in that Bible college, she would disappear and nobody would hear from her again. It was just like, and the guy would still be around, but the girl would just like disappear in the middle of the semester and nobody would know what happened to her. And, you'd find out 10 years later that she had a baby or she went and got an abortion or something. But they're training leaders in this way, and they're training male dominance, and they're training charismatic behaviors and narcissistic control of other people. So that's what I've observed. Ameet, I hope that answers a little bit of your question. Go read Sex and God. You'll find out a whole lot more.
Cool. Oh, definitely. Thank you so much. That was like really helpful.
You're welcome.
I just thought I'd call you because I had a very a very relevant experience this past week.
Well, let me ask you a question. Could I?
Yeah,
Hello?
certainly.
Oh, okay. Have you through this reflection, through rereading this, have you discovered any area in your life that you need to challenge that some of the brainwashing about sex that you got from your religion? Is there any area that you need to challenge?
I have challenged a lot of them, and I'm still working through it. Ethan and Hannah know I've called multiple times, but yeah, I mean, like, I'm still working through it. If you had asked me 5 years ago, would I ever date a trans person, I would have said no. If you had asked me 5 years ago if I would have ever dated a bisexual person, I would have said no. If you had asked me 5 years ago if I would have wanted to have sex before marriage, I would have said no. Same thing with masturbating. If someone said, hey, would you be, do you think it's wrong? I would have said yes.
Even though you were doing it, right?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was totally doing it. And then I was like just beating myself up for it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you found those areas to challenge, and hopefully it makes your life less guilt-driven, less shame-driven, and you're enjoying yourself and your body and the body of other people with consensually, of course. Thanks for calling in.
I hope that answered all your questions.
Thanks. Yeah,
That was-
definitely. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Call anytime. We adore you.
Okay, cool.
That goddamn delay.
Yeah. Sorry I had to step away for a moment, but I had just realized I didn't plug in my friggin' Ethernet cord, and everyone glitched out for a second because I'm using Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi for live streaming is a big no-no. So I had to fly upstairs and plug it in.
You weren't gone that long, but you missed some wisdom. Yeah, no, that was fantastic. And yeah, is it God and sex or sex and God?
Sex is always first, so it's sex and God. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, read Sex and God by
God,
Dr. Ray. And
God is imaginary, sex is not. So that's how you remember it. Yeah.
no, that was brilliant though, because I feel like sex is such a primal part of many human beings.
Yeah.
And that's important to you. And I don't know how else to say it other than when you have them by the balls, you have them by the minds and hearts, or what was that?
When you've got them by the balls, their hearts and minds will follow.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's such a primal part of the human existence. You control that. You control a lot of a person. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, can you think of a religion that is successful that doesn't try to control people's sexuality?
no, I mean, like even the super like free lovey sexy ones, it's just the cult leader is the one who's doing all the sex. So
very frequently. Yep.
Yeah. Man. That's a trip, man. And that's so frustrating.
Yep.
Nothing to be ashamed about, man.
So Hannah, I'm still interested in any other aspects of the excursion that in your review, have you finished your review? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know if I have anything else. Like I wish I wish I had like constructive criticism or something, but like it just keep doing what you're doing, I guess. I hope that's somewhat helpful. It was a freaking blast. Even though it poured down rain on karaoke night, like, it still was a blast. It was beautiful. It was serene. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, it did. And next year, I am totally going to bring all my karaoke library. So that way we have just a limitless. 'Cause I used to be a karaoke host. So I have a limitless amount of karaoke music. So next year, we're going to do that. And it's all digital.
And I don't know when, but I've talked to Ethan about this. We'd love to do, as soon as I walked away from the excursion, I was like, all right, fundraising next time. Bigger, better, like bigger. Go big or go home.
I was just telling Dr. Ray before the show that for this year, I have like so many more ideas I want to implement. And I'm hoping, so in addition to, I'm not going to share my ideas now. But I'll just say I have more ideas, and hopefully, last year we raised $8,500. Well, technically it was this year. So hopefully next year we can raise even more money for recovering from religion.
Double it.
The reason we raise that money is so the price people pay is deeply subsidized. We could not put this thing on for the price we charge people. It just wouldn't happen. Not in that kind of a venue anyway.
So they paid less than what it would actually cost.
The highest price ticket that you could buy is still subsidized. But the lowest price tickets are really, really subsidized. Wow. And we give people extra subsidies. If they apply, you can apply and say, I want the $100 subsidy, and we'll if they pay, everybody has to pay something. We don't give anything totally for free.
Oh yeah, otherwise it couldn't run,
Well, the main reason for that is people don't respect what they don't pay for. So what happens is, they'll take a spot for free and then not show up. And then somebody has lost that opportunity. So what we found is if we charge you a nominal fee, but it's still a fee, and then we'll subsidize the rest for you. And people show up. People don't cancel if they got skin in the game.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And everyone, there's such a need for this sort of thing, and the work y'all are doing is just invaluable. So
I have a special announcement. Can I make an announcement?
Absolutely.
Yes. And then after that, we have another caller.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, let's do the caller, and then I'll do the announcement later.
Oh, okay. But it's killing me.
Yeah, real quick, I want to get to
too bad. We'll kill you.
Call screener, $5 per second of Rarity. So freaking happy to see Ethan, Hannah, and Dr. Ray again. Love the show. Well, love you for always call screening. Thank you.
Yeah,
all right, let's bring on this next person. Wants to talk about how to navigate online dating with safety at an older age. IQ, you're on with Ethan, Hannah, and Dr. Ray. How are you?
I am fantastic. How about you guys?
Good to hear your voice again.
Yeah, always.
Always. This may be the first
I love IQ's voice.
With Darrel.
Hey.
I've been getting that a lot lately.
So, what did you want to talk about?
Well, being, fresh out into the market here recently, the past few months, of course I hopped onto some online dating sites and just sticking myself out there. Just why not? And, I've learned a lot of things about how they rope you in to a lot of these things. There's a lot of psychology out there. Because when it comes to your sexuality, like he's talking about, if they got you by the balls, they got you by everything else.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that applies to dating too.
When you are desperate, when somebody's desperate, desperation drives the best and worst in humanity. And when they know that they can target your vulnerabilities, that you're going to get, even if you could smell bullshit coming from a mile away, when you're vulnerable, people know when to target this. And you need to be careful with that. And a lot of the times, you hop onto these sites and they give you the free version and you get all these messages, but you can't read them. They guarantee, they make sure that there is a way that
lure
you can actually contact this person. And you get all these messages, but you got to sign up for just a few dollars more. You can, read the messages or reply or and whatever it is. And they're all in bots. I can't guarantee that, but most of them, they're all computer programs. They're bots with stolen profile pictures from people's Facebook profiles and stuff. And you get all these messages, and then as soon as you sign up, those messages can stop. And then you start seeing the real people out there. So when you're out there, you're going to get targeted by scammers. You're going to get targeted by people who are preying on your vulnerabilities. And you need to know how to check yourself when you're getting desperate on something. Really check yourself.
Right.
There's people out there. There's legitimate people on these sites. Actually, I'm going out of town tomorrow night to go fuck somebody's brains out. Why? Because it's fun and I enjoy it and I'm allowed to.
That's
and
true.
I actually hooked up with somebody. That's cool. You find the real people, but you know how to weed the things out. You can't talk to a chat bot about emotions. Ask them to describe how they feel about a certain picture or where were they. Ask for context about the pictures. And unless whoever programmed the bot had the insight to think to program the answers to those questions in there, you're going to get a really weird, vague, like you're talking to a chat bot picture. Try the Turing test. Think of a question that a computer program's not going to be able to answer. And you'll know if you're talking to a chat bot or not.
Well, thanks,
And
IQ.
for goodness sakes, don't send sexy pics too quick.
And did you have any, while we have you, did you have any questions for Dr. Ray?
No, not off the top of my head. I'm sure, like later on, I'm gonna be like, fuck, I should have asked him that. But, he's not a hard man to get a hold of. So if it hits me there later on, then, I'll shoot you some sort of message, some way, somehow, email, whatever it is. You're out there, man.
All
keep
right.
up the good work.
Thanks for calling, IQ. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yep,
I would. All right, have a go on.
It's funny. That balls thing applies to religion, dating,
Yeah.
business.
There's a rule of thumb in online dating, and I think it's hard for people to seems hard for people to apply it, but it's a simple rule of thumb. If it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true.
Unless it's Thomas Westbrook, because we met on the internet.
Well,
I met Jessica on the internet too.
Some of us get really lucky. No. But no, it's different. Thomas Westbrook, I love him to death. He's a sexy man, but it's not like I was getting messaged by like Jason Momoa. Like, you know what I mean? Or yeah,
Well,
but probably is. And I have learned the hard way with that as well. So
I actually studied this for some time, and I studied it as a participant. I did online dating from 2001 until 2010 or 12. But while I'm doing this, and I have a good friend, he's also a psychologist, and we were comparing notes. And of course, this is before the bots got very really good at what they're doing. But there was really some art to it. And I think the number one thing that both my friend and I came to the conclusion of: be as brutally honest as you can, because you're going to waste a lot of time with people that you don't want to be with, or that they don't want to be with you. Mm-hmm. So right up front, say I'm an atheist. Or right up front, I'm saying I'm non-religious or whatever.
I make sure they know that. That's like,
yeah.
I think one of the, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Dr. Ray.
Yeah, that's all right. That's what you should do, is make sure. And I also say, if you're poly, put it out there. Mm-hmm. I've been out poly on almost since 2004, and it hasn't really slowed me down. It has prevented me from getting involved with people that, that didn't I met so many people online that didn't even know what poly was, didn't know the word. Why? And so I had to explain it to them. And then mainly they would just, oh, you're a cheater then, right? Okay, we're not going to go anywhere.
I'm rolling my eyes. Yeah. There was this guy I was hooking up with, and I wasn't even poly at the time. we weren't in a relationship. I was not interested in getting serious with anyone. And I messaged him like an adult and I said, hey, just let me know if you're going to start, because like we both got tested before we hooked up. He was like my only person I was seeing at the time. I was just like, hey, we should start using condoms if you're going to start seeing other people. Just let me know if you do. And he goes, well, why? Are you planning on seeing other people? And I was like, well, yeah, probably. You know, we're not an item. And he goes, I just think that's dirty. You just shouldn't do that. And I was like, but we're not exclusive. Like I'm not saying I'm like actively looking for people. And even if I was, what's the big deal? And I'm just being adult and saying like, if it comes up, like we just let me know so I can, you know, plan accordingly to protect myself.
Exactly.
He flipped out and I said, you know what? You're a great guy, but bye-bye.
Men have so many hang-ups, and I think sometimes I'm probably overgeneralizing, but sometimes I think men have more hang-ups than women do in our culture, and women have a lot of guilt and shame put on them, but men take that guilt and shame from a different angle. I wrote an article and did a talk on male shame a few years back. It's available on YouTube, several places, but what we don't see is how much shame men deal with. Mm-hmm. We see what we do to women, but men, we don't let men talk about it. And men are ashamed to talk about their shame. I mean, they're ashamed to admit they masturbate. They're ashamed to, you know, admit that their girlfriend or their lover might have other lovers, because that is a shame on the man for not controlling his woman.
Yeah,
that's the mentality.
Yeah.
Because you got to be a man.
Yeah,
you're not a man if your woman's fucking somebody else. It's that simple,
right? It's a hurdle you have to get through. Like, No,
I feel like did it come to you?
It didn't go anywhere. I'm debating on whether to talk about it or not. But yeah, it's a hurdle you have to overcome if you're going to be into any type of like swinging or open relationship. You have to get over that hump and realize you're not any less manly just because your partner may sleep with someone else. It could actually make your relationship better.
I was gonna say, like, a lot of women will really make you feel like a man if you give her that freedom.
Well,
I think it's all about what you're comfortable with, but if that's something that you're interested in, you shouldn't feel shame for exploring that.
Exactly. And the main thing is be honest, be open. But that's hard to do because we were not trained to be like that. We were trained to hide our sexuality, hide our desires, hide our fantasies, and hide the fact that we've had other partners. I mean, there was a psychological experiment done up in Toronto it's probably been about 15 years ago. And they brought men, a whole group of men in one at a time, brought a whole group of women in one at a time. And they asked them face to face with the researcher a bunch of questions, one of which was, how many sex partners have you had? Men on average, I'm just making these numbers up for now. I don't remember the numbers. The average man said 10. The average woman said 3. So they do the whole survey again, the whole test again. And this time they bring, the same number of men and women, different groups. But this time, instead of asking face to face, they hand them a piece of paper and say, go back in this room and fill this out, and hand it to a person as they go out. Well, the same question is on there. How many partners have you had? The men say 10. The women say 5. But they had to hand it to another human being as they walked out. Then they did a third test, which is brilliant. They had a lie detector machine in the room, and they brought them in. They hooked them up to the lie detector machine, and the operator, by the way, it was a fake lie detector machine.
I figured.
The operator asked the same number of questions, and this time the men said 10. So in all 3 cases, the men are the same, and this time the women said 10 too. So what you see is that women lie about how many partners they've had. largely because of the shame and guilt we put on women in our culture.
Yes.
It was a really fascinating experiment. I've always thought that was. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard the rule of 3?
Well, yeah.
Where whatever the number the woman gives you, multiply it by 3.
Oh,
and
no,
whatever
I haven't heard
man
that.
gives you, divide it by 3.
Oh, no, I guess I haven't heard that one.
That's pretty funny. I was gonna say I thought that maybe the men's would like kind of lower or something.
And that's what I was expecting.
The men, all 3 groups of men seem to be about the same, roughly.
Mhm.
Whatever the number was, it
Whatever
was
the
about the same.
number was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I took a class in college and we had to write down on a paper how many sex partners would be too many. Like if you were seeing someone and they had, what is your limit on, like, I couldn't date someone if they slept with this many or more people. And I just was laughing because the guys ended up sharing theirs and it was so low. And it was like, all the girls were laughing because they were like, you're not going to find very many. Like,
Your pool of candidates just really got small.
and if she tells you that it's that many, she's probably lying. No, there's women with, and I don't want to purity culture, like slut shame, not what's the opposite of slut shame, prude shame or whatever. But it's just a generalization is women will lie about it. And yeah, I don't know so Holy Kool-Aid asks, what's the average? I would love to know.
Well, I'd have to go back and review I don't know. I don't have the numbers on my head. I do notice that Ameet said something about lie detectors don't work. Yeah, that's pretty much true.
Yeah,
always-
lie detectors are bullshit.
Yeah, they're
Why do they use them in like the legal system then? That's a whole nother thing.
they don't. It's not legal. The Supreme Court threw it out decades ago. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
cool.
from my understanding, it's mainly used as like an intimidation method to get people
Yeah.
to confess.
yeah, right.
But they
Interesting.
don't. And there's it's pseudoscience nonsense from everything I've.
Well, if you remember, Aldrich Ames, which is one of the most destructive spies in U.S. history, passed every polygraph test the CIA threw at him. So the best polygraph testers on the planet working in the CIA could not catch the worst spy that the United States has ever had, or
Interesting.
one of the worst spies. So that gives you a little bit of a hint about how difficult it is or how well it works. Anyway, I could go on and on about polygraph. I didn't mean to get us sidetracked because
No,
Oh,
it's very interesting, and we're about to wrap up anyway. So,
okay.
But you had an announcement.
oh yeah,
I did have a big announcement, and that is we are changing our venue. We're going to move about 100 miles to the west into Tennessee, and we're going to be in the Pigeon Forge area. What we've got is a bigger venue that is more compact, and it's got a swimming pool. It's got 2 hot tubs, beautiful setting. But we can get everybody in the same building.
amazing.
And one of our biggest problems with the place we were at before was accessibility. If somebody had a disability, they certainly weren't going to get around there very well.
Right.
And we had some people who had difficulty walking up and down those mountain roads to get in. So it was one of our big complaints that we remedied by finding this place. It's on a very accessible area, plenty of parking, beautiful facility. So we'll be there. We've already booked it for next year. It's ready to go.
Oh, it's happening.
Shannon is, well, you met Shannon. She was in the kitchen with Barb the whole time. Shannon is one of the most amazing human beings on this planet. And this was her idea. We blame her totally for the success of this process.
That's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. So when are like tickets or whatever gonna
She's gonna have it all up pretty early this year, earlier than last year, because we didn't know if COVID was we weren't sure we could do it this year. So we kept delaying on tickets, but she'll probably have tickets up and ready for sale. I'm guessing by March, maybe or so. So
we're all
That's perfect
vaccinated. by
timing because February. Ooh, I should probably say the date. So it will be this year. February 4th is on a Friday. So February 4th, 2022, I guess a month before tickets go on sale is when that Recovering from Religion fundraiser will be.
All right,
There
great.
we go. Perfect.
gonna-
I'll be there.
It's going to be a weekend later in September, but should be roughly the same kind of weather, I would think. And Pigeon Forge is a great area. I've hiked in that area. I've canoed in that area. I've been around there a lot in my earlier life when I lived in Tennessee. It's a beautiful area.
Well, you just cut my trip in half, so that's perfect. I drove from Texas to North Carolina, and we stayed overnight in Memphis. So.
Oh, yeah, right. And Tennessee's a long state. I mean, it's a long.
Sure
I
is.
drove. I drove all the way from Kansas City to the excursion myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I wanted to stop along the way and see some recovering from religion people. I talked to some people in Nashville on the way through and stayed there a couple nights. But yeah, it was a good drive. I enjoyed it.
Well, keep an eye out for that, everybody. It's if it sounds like something you'd be interested in, I can't say enough how amazing it was. And that's coming from someone who doesn't have a lot of religious trauma, so it's just like, I know it worked wonders for a lot of people. And and from the people I've followed up with a lot of people who I had met on that excursion. I almost said the R word.
Have you gotten on it and joined the Slack group for the
I haven't,
excursion?
but I will.
Yeah, we admit anybody from the excursion. It's totally private, but you have, if you were there, which both of you were, you can get in and interact with everybody that was there.
Amazing. That's wonderful. Yeah, it really felt like, at the end of a trip and you're leaving all your friends and you're like, oh, when am I going to see you? Because these people were from all over. So
yeah, and this year we were restricted, but last time we had people from Canada and France.
Oh my God.
And I'm guaranteeing you, if we don't have any COVID problems, we will have people from Australia. We'll have at least 2 people from Australia next time. They've already told us they're buying tickets. Sherry, you may not. Yeah. Sherry D'Souza out of Sydney, Australia. They're coming.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So we're getting more and more international. We've got tons of groups all over the world now. I think we've got close to 70 groups. And we're growing really fast. So
thank you for everything you're doing, and I really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, Ethan's freezing. This has never happened before. Oh my goodness.
Whoa. Hello, am I back?
Yep,
you are. Internet.
Whoa. Yeah, I never freeze.
This has never happened. I don't know what to do. I'm normally the child.
Dr. Ray, where can everyone check you out at?
Well, they can look me up on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook, Darrel Ray on Facebook. I'm DRAY 132 on Twitter, and I'm all over Instagram and places like that. I don't know. I can't remember every place I'm at. And you can find my books on Amazon. Sex and God and the God Virus both are relevant to our conversation here today. Other than that, you can go to Recover from Religion and find all about all of us and what we're doing. And you can volunteer for us if you feel like you want to, or you can donate to help support this kind of activity.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then real quick, before we get out of here, I want to thank our top tier patrons. Cindy Plaza, Left, Right, Left, Kenneth, Leonard, Skye, JumpandShoot, Oz, Secular Rarity, Philip Leitch, Kaitlyn Beyond, Toast, Richard Gilliver, Sunset Sarge, Ameet Mathew, Ray Sylvester, and Kyle Brewer. Thank you for your patronage. Again, Dr. Ray, thank you so much for doing this. Hannah, it was nice to get back at this again.
I'm raising my hand because I want to say a couple things before we go.
Please.
Okay, so, well, also, yeah, did you already say thank you, Secular Rarity, for being our wonderful call screener?
Thank you,
always.
Secular Rarity.
So also, November, Ethan, what's happening?
I don't know. What's happening?
Yeah,
we got to start promoting that.
So Ethan has been selected as one of the speakers at Faithless Forum, which is going to be in Austin, Texas, through November 19th to the 21st. I think you can go to faithlessforum.com. Holy Kool-Aid, scream at me if that's incorrect. It is basically it's like a big atheist and skeptic YouTuber meetup where we're going to hang out, and there will be talks, there will be speakers. It's going to be amazing. It's a 3-day event. The last time we did it, we couldn't do it last year because of COVID. It was a 1-day event, and we went, that was too much in 1 day. But so it's going to be a 3-day long event. So come for any portion of it that you can. There's going to be some amazing people there. faithlessforum.com. I believe, or you can check out Holy Kool-Aid stuff. He's been promoting the crap out of it. But Ethan has been selected as a speaker. I will be there. You'll get to meet a lot of awesome people, and we'll provide a bunch of resources and channels. And it's basically a meetup. It's like VidCon for atheists. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, why not? Comic-Con for atheists, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you can dress up if you want, I guess.
Ooh, Ameet Mathew is coming to Faithless Forum, so we're going to get to meet one of our favorite callers.
Good.
Freak
Good.
out.
And then Godless Blessings, thank you for the $2. Thank you all. Anything else, Hannah?
Just thank you for everyone who super chatted and sent pins, and big thank you to Dr. Darrel Ray for being here today. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Night.